My name is Sam Dunlap. This is Franklin Boulevard Media. I grew up here in Gastonia. I like to say I grew up all over Gastonia. With that being said, I grew up down my grandparents' house, spent a lot of time with them from really pre-K through starting school, which is Queens Road off 321. Some people call it the Pinckney Station area. I just always grew up calling it Queens Road. I also grew up off 321 further south in Clover, South Carolina, with my mom's parents off a road called Lawrence Road. We used to call it Adamsville because everybody off that stretch of land was Adams. But primarily for school purposes, I grew up here in Gastonia. Growing up for me, actually it starts off really spending a lot of time around my grandfather off Queens Road. He worked on cars, he was a hunter. So I grew up thinking I wanted to be a mechanic and a hunter. And I recall that I started to believe that I had some speed. My grandfather challenged me to race him one day. He told me he could beat me. So I'm like, man, ain't no way my papa gonna beat me in no racing. And he beat me. I believe I was latter parts of elementary, hadn't got to middle school yet, but I began to notice, I was like, I think I can actually play some sports. Started with my mom playing sports, t-ball, soccer, karate. I said all those three first because she was hesitant about me playing football because I really wanted to play football. So finally, family's like, you know, let him play. So my first team was with the Union Road Green Wave. I believe they're the Union Road Jaguars now. So that started right before I got to junior high. My 6th grade year is when I got to first play football. And then after that, going to the 7th grade, I didn't think I was quite ready to play at junior high for the Greer Knights. Then that next year, my 8th grade year, I started playing and fell in love with the sport ever since high school. High school, I really believed that I could play at a college level. I believed even if that was a D1 AA or even per se a lower level than that, I believed that I was coachable and could continue to develop skills to play, and really began to understand going into my senior year how important it was for me to make sure that SAT scores and GPAs were in place in consideration of schools as well. And from that point, I graduate, look at a couple of colleges. I went to North Carolina A&T, looking at what the potential of walking on there was like, and just asking athletes that were already there, what does that process look like? That road wasn't for me. I found my way back home, but I knew coming back home to Gastonia, being in Gastonia wasn't for me at the time. Just being at home, whether it be manufacturing or whatever job you can think of, distribution, I just knew that it wasn't for me. So at that time, I entered the U.S. Army and was a cargo specialist there. And at that point, I'm at a point in the Army to where I'm thinking about, is this going to be a career or not? Had some immaturity going on still in my life at the time, and the military really wasn't for me. It really helped develop my mindset. It helped develop more maturity, but there was a part of me that just was still at unrest with, okay, well, Sam, what are you supposed to do? What's your calling, per se? What are you supposed to, do in life? And I still hadn't figured that out. That happened. I'm home from the military. Life goes on. I get married. Started to develop, of course, a family, and trying to figure out what I want to do. I kind of went back to the mechanical side of things, electrical work. I was working for a company for several years doing that. Prior to that, dibbled and dabbled in the mental health field. I felt I had a gifting to work with others and just to be a support or to serve others in that aspect. So did that for a while, mechanical, again with the electrical part. Transitioning from that, get introduced to Planet Fitness. I was already a member there, working out there regularly and talking to some of the employees there like, hey, what you think about giving me a shot to work in here, internship or something? Because I'm working on my degree at Belmont Abbey College at night. I'm at Belmont Abbey working on my Bachelor of Arts in Business Management. I graduated from there May of 2016, spring of 2016. But during the time that I'm working on that degree, I'm working out regularly at Planet Fitness and really was thinking, okay, the trade field of electrician is, I said, well, I didn't see a chance to grow into leadership because there was something in me beginning to brew that, hey, I got some leadership skills. I can lead, I can manage in some type of capacity. So at that point, I'm asking about Planet Fitness. Is there opportunities with you all and so forth? And finally, I decided to make the move. I'm talking to one of the managers at the time, and they were like, hey, this is what we got, an opportunity. And I said, okay, I'm gonna take it. And resigned from the electrical company. And literally it was October of 2011 is when I started my career with Planet Fitness. And at that point, time goes on and we go into 2019 and we're coming into the middle of 2019. Let's say middle of 2019, let me see. No, excuse me, the latter part of 2019 going into actually 2020. And there's two opportunities for me. Something I've been wanting to be over the last few years with Planet Fitness was a regional manager. You're overseeing multiple locations, anywhere between 3 to 5. You're overseeing and leading other general managers. And I had an opportunity with the company I was with at that time, that franchise group, and then a previous owner of a franchise was talking about going down south to Alabama to start up his own company, about 5 locations. And it was offered me an opportunity to be a regional. So I'm tossed and turned weighing Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, Alabama. I'm thinking 6 hours down 85 through Atlanta, still close to home, got a strong knit with my family, versus 9 hours up north, taking my wife and family to, cold weather, something that I didn't grow up around. Ended up making the decision to give the ownership group a shot for Alabama, and that was right at the brink of COVID. The day that COVID has a direct impact on Planet Fitness was my last day with Planet Fitness. It was on a Friday in March, but we found out that the clubs were going to be closing. The Gastonia location off of O'Neill Hawkins over there, Union Road, grand opening day was closing day. That was when all clubs were being closed down. And at that time, I'm preparing to go to Alabama to become a regional manager. So me and my wife get things situated. We get in an apartment down in a community called Millbrook, Alabama, just south of Montgomery. We're getting things down there situated. We leave my daughter here with her sister in our house that we have here, and we're ready to go. We're ready to start a new life in Alabama. I'm ready to become a regional manager and continue to develop my skills in leadership. And lo and behold, I found out literally after Easter. It was, I want to say the week after Easter, that ownership group was unable to close the deal with the company that they were going to acquire locations from. So at that time, I tell my wife, we both were distraught. I felt it's probably one of the lower places I've been in life as a person, a husband, a father, professional individual, because I felt like I let my family down. And so my wife told me to pick myself up, and in some other words, pick yourself up, dust it off, we'll get through this. Actually, Memorial Day weekend in May, we were still down there. We went and just took a little road trip together and just trying to encourage each other that we would get through it. Talked to one of my close friends, and that's currently still in law enforcement, and he was just encouraging me, man, it's gonna be all right. We'll see when you get back home. Then he texted me literally within a minute and was like, law enforcement could still use some good men like you. So I'm literally, I kind of perk up and look at my phone. Like, and I'm looking at the phone, I'm like, I sit down beside my wife and I wouldn't look at her, I just sit there, we're looking at the TV, and I said, hey, what you think about me being the police, just like that? And I saw her head turn and look at me like, and she didn't say anything, like, what'd you say? I said, yeah, I said, what you think about me going to law enforcement? And like, where you get that from? And I told her who I talked to, and I said, because really, I go back home, I'm looking to get into some form of sales. I'll be a gym membership, gyms, something dealing with athletics, whether it's clothing line or sneakers, things that, but I was like, or even like a Lowe's, Home Depot. I was thinking of things along those lines to where I said, I know that I have the capacity, I'm teachable, I'm coachable, and if I can get in and learn another system, I know I can excel. And started exploring that avenue. We found our way back in Gastonia, back in Gaston County, just before the 4th of July of 2020, and made contact with Gaston County Police Department. Started the process with them. One of my other friends that worked for Gastonia Police Department was like, well, you know, you can put an application in over here too. I was like, I don't know if I know a lot of people in Gastonia. I said, I know it's customer service, but I don't know if some of the folk around here gonna really want me serving them in that capacity. So I have an opportunity to go sit before Belmont Police Department's chief for an interview to possibly get sponsored, basically pay my way through basic law enforcement training academy. At the time, it was Chief Chad Hawkins. He's Sheriff Chad Hawkins now. And sat down with him, did an interview, and after it was over with, he confirmed that he would sponsor me. And he paid Belmont paid for my basic law enforcement training academy fee. I just had to pay for my books. So July 27th of 2020, I am in basic law enforcement training academy to become a police officer in 2020. And I'm first day of class, I'm sitting there like, so I done went from this, that, then third, and I'm sitting here about to become the police. And it was surreal. I was 43. The next to the youngest in the class was 27. And the youngest in the class hadn't even turned 21 at the time. So it was a vast majority. It was a great experience. Got through that. We graduated December 4th, I believe, of 2020. Took the state exam about a week or two later. Found out that we all got calls that I did pass the North Carolina state exam. And well, the good part is actually before that, leading into Labor Day weekend of 2020, I believe, transparent moment, I might be down to less than $500 in my checking account. I would not dare lie to you and tell you that I wasn't afraid of being in that position, because I've always prided myself in being a hard worker, not willing not scared to work and do what I need to do to take care of me and my family. And had exhausted 401k money, the years I've been in with Planet Fitness, other resources, trying to just get bills paid up, trying to stay ahead of the curve per se. And my belief in in knowing that I would get through it, I prayed, and I encouraged myself. I said, you know what? You'll get through it. You continue to stay the course, which is you're not scared to work. You don't mind working. You have the skills to obtain, employment. It's going to be all right. And so I'm like, I can't work part-time nowhere. I got to be at school every day at Gaston College at 7:30 in the morning. Don't get done to basic 4:35. And literally on September the 2nd, I get a call from was assistant chief of police in Belmont, now our chief, Chief Falls, and he asked me would I be interested in interview. So I'm sure you can relate to the commercials or people talking about those aha moments where that call comes. It's like, so I'm sitting there like, yes, sir. what time and when? And he told me the time. So I go, got my suit on, get in and interview. Felt like hours, but I think it might have been about an hour. They sent me out into the front lobby area of the police department, and it felt like 30, 40 minutes. I think it might have been 10 or 15 minutes I sat out there. And at the time, it was Lieutenant. He's actually chief of the fire department now, Todd Davis, and he comes out straight face. He's about 6 foot, 6'1", slim guy, former state trooper. He comes out. Mr. Dunlap, I was like, whoo, how you doing? I'm talking about, how you doing? Like, I'm just meeting him for the first time. And he said, I want to be the first to congratulate you. And I just remember smiling and feeling relief and going back to the money part at that moment. You know what I'm thinking? I wonder when they're going to get me on their payroll and give me my first check. Because I got bills to pay. So September the 2nd of 2020, I officially became Belmont Police Department officer. I was a cadet at the time because I was in rookie school still. Yeah, I got sworn in December 2020, and shortly after Christmas of 2020, I get started with training, and going into 2021, around about May, I get what we call cut loose. I'm in my own patrol car by myself, going to calls, domestic, larceny, break-in, wrecks, you name it. I'm going to calls, and time goes on, and I would say going into the latter part of the year of 2021, going into the fall, I was enjoying conducting traffic stops. I was terrified of conducting crash report investigations in my training, but began to find myself enjoying it. I was able to get several certifications along the way leading into the latter part of the year 2021, and one of them was speed measuring instrument certification, radar and LiDAR, and I was enjoying catching speeders, encouraging people to, I always use the word encouraging people to slow down. And I didn't see it then, but I was slowly beginning to see what we call our niche in policing. And so going into the first year of 2022, there's a position that comes open on the traffic unit. So I'm kind of like sitting there that day in my police car, saw the email, I was like, nah. I was like, hey, no, I'm talking to myself just like, nah, man, you're not gonna put in for that. You just started, Sam, ain't no way. I'm like, well, you get all these certifications that line up with it, from at scene traffic crash investigations, advanced traffic crash investigations, radar, LiDAR, chemical analyst, which is being able to operate the instrument at the jail where individuals have to blow for breath alcohol concentration. I'm like, you got that? I'm like, you got SFST investigation certification under your belt? I'm like, you got A-Rod up under your belt? I'm like, man, you got the qualifications. And then you hear about some people coming over to the police department from other departments, and there's a lot of changes going on. I'm like, man, So then what I said to myself, I said, look, man, you get ready to be how old, Sam? I'm like, you didn't come in this like the other ones in your class. You came to this saying at 43, so go for it, man. Go for it. And I put in the application for that position in February, and I got the position. And that position is the DWI enforcement officer for our traffic unit. Yeah, I operate up under a grant through the North Carolina Governor Highway Safety Program. It's a 4-year grant that I am operating under. The grant ends October of 2024. There's goals laid out for the grant. a short recap of that is I go to Belmont Middle School and speak to students about traffic safety. With them, I primarily speak about, not being a distraction to your parents while you're driving, how driving takes a lot for us as adults that are driving when we're trying to go places, picking up our, loved ones, things of that nature in that capacity. At the high school, speak to them as well once every quarter. Of course, with the high schools, I get down to the nitty-gritty about everything. Drinking and driving, smoking marijuana, doing any type of drugs while driving, the dangers of speeding, things of that nature, being distracted when you're going places and hanging out with friends, seatbelt safety, of course. So I do that once a quarter during the school year with the schools. So the grant asks that I do that 4 times during the day and 4 times at night. I am to conduct what's called seatbelt initiatives. Basically what that means is I'm gonna conduct a checking station of some sort. It could be daytime, it can be moving or stationary. Stationary is me and at least one other officer, maybe 2. We're just standing out in the road checking for driver's license, but I'm specifically looking for individuals that are operating a motor vehicle without a seatbelt on. Just trying to help bring awareness to the importance of that. It can be moving or stationary. At night, checking stations as well, looking specifically for seatbelt violations as well at night. I'm to participate with at least one outside agency in a DWI checkpoint at least once a quarter. Then also the Belmont Police Department, we are to conduct at least one DWI checking station every quarter as well, specifically. Monitor high complaint roadways and highways in Belmont. Make sure to document that. And that's just a recap of a part of what the position entails. The chapters, the pages in my book of life are very, very present as far as still being, they're being written as we speak. My story is, you got to keep it moving. That's just a little personal phrase I've said to myself over the years. I don't know, within the last decade. That's just one of my personal sayings is that you got to keep it moving. Whether it's something outside that I'm doing that requires an exertion of energy, some form of exercise. It could be, some project at home. It could be a project that you're working on, Sam, within the police department. It could be an investigation. It could be a challenge in life. It could be a challenge in my personal family, in my own home. I always believe that my story is you got to keep it moving. I believe that reinventing yourself as a person in whatever capacity that you want to look at. For me, it can be everything from a husband, a father, professional, police officer. I'm involved in 2 different fraternities right here in our county. Yes, I became a Freemason in 2018. So it was something that was, my grandfather was an influencer of that and other men that I began to meet along the way. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I'm part of the Eta Mu Lambda chapter right here in Gastonia. I believed growing up in school that Greek fraternities, they were cool, wanted to be a part. Didn't know in what capacity. Get older in life and you begin to reinvent yourself, even in your early 40s. I'm looking at these Greek fraternities, I'm like, man, this fraternity at the end of the day, what captures my heart, or I would say my eyes, is that serving, all mankind. That drew me in. I'm like, because at the end of the day, I believe without a doubt, serving others is at the core of who I am. In any capacity, having the ability to serve mankind no matter what your race, creed, or color is. To me, that's a great reward itself. I believe wholeheartedly, now that word is really just is saturating in me, that reinvention, that it was prime time, it was purposeful, it was meant to be. It was almost like it was just not real, but it was like it was almost like, am I dreaming? Because at 43, to me, desires, passions, focus, determination, I'll just stop at those words. It was stronger in me than it ever has been. And I didn't see myself having to reinvent myself. I'm still the same person. I'm just reinventing I'm not gonna call it a pinnacle point in my life, but a prime place for me to say, hey, this is happening. You're nervous, but it's okay. You're being stretched, but it's okay. You're not exactly 100% sure of what the plan is, but it's okay. There was a lot of I don't know factors, but there was a sense of it's okay at this point in your life that you can be reinvented, you can start over. And it's not like, as you stated earlier, it's not like I'm stopping. There was a determination to keep moving, per se. My thought process with Gaston County, Gastonia, there is, I believe, reinvention of culture, demographics. Those are two words that come to my mind of what I've been able to witness myself, let's just say over the last 3 years. I believe that when it comes to the things that are being developed and specifically speaking, even where we just talked briefly about, downtown and how I believe our city is trying to give it a new look, a new vibe, a new culture per se, to make it a place where we as residents of Gaston County or specifically, Gastonia, have somewhere that we can come and have those nice, moments where you can have a nice meal, hang out with friends, that maybe family that's coming in town. Not taking anything away from Charlotte, but you don't necessarily have to go to the QC just to hang out and have a good time, whether it be a nice restaurant to kick it with family or a nice place just to hang out. But I know that I've saw this community come a long way from, I'll say specifically the 90s up to where we're at now. And I believe that leadership, from mayor to city councilman, I believe that they want the best city, the best county that can be provided for for the residents here. And I'd like to see Gastonia just continue to grow, continue to be be a community that's multicultural, that can speak to all walks of life, all races, creeds, and colors. I know affordable housing is something that I know our city is challenged to continue to provide that. I know that's something that several organizations, but specifically speaking, the Greek fraternity that I'm a part of, I know that's something that is focused on, is housing. Individuals being able to have every opportunity to vote, voters' rights, things of that nature. Making sure that we can provide a safe community, of course, from the policing aspect all over this county, because I know that's something that every police agency in this county, in some capacity, the mission statement is going to be about serving others. It's going to be about the safety of others. It's going to be about the protection of others. And I know that's something that, again, our county, agencies, all police agencies across this county work very diligently to do. So I would encourage anybody, as relates to Gastonians, individuals from here in Gaston County. We have a remarkable county that we live in, we work in, we serve in. Continue to encourage individuals wherever you can be of an influence or make a positive impact. It can be whatever level, whether it's at a governmental level, whether it's in the school systems, healthcare, any capacity that you can be of service or make an impact. I'd be remorse if I didn't add the faith community. I believe that our faith community is a strong core and foundation of our county as well. So any impact that you can be, whether it's at your church, any local outreach groups that you can be a part of, continue to look for those things that you can do to provide some form of service, I'd say, for Gaston County, Gastonia, any other city in Gaston County. At the end of the day, I think it's about everybody making a deliberate choice to do what they can do, what they're able to do, and what they may believe they have a passion or a niche or a calling, to do. And I believe, if we do that, focus on whatever that is. Something I heard today: stay in your lane. Know what you're good at or know what you're not good at, and just put in the best. Do the best you can.